If you want to eat healthy on a budget, you're going to have to cook from scratch. But if you're going to cook from scratch and not go crazy, you have to learn how to shop and stock your kitchen properly with all the basic essentials. I was taught this by my mom, who was a super frugal, super healthy, from scratch kombucha kefir making woman way back before it was cool. So I'm going to tell you all of my kitchen basics that I try and keep stocked. Like if I was going to go shop and fill an empty kitchen, these are the things that I would buy. Half of this is like super budget, and then there'll be things tacked on that I like to get that is not necessary, but for me is a basic. The idea here is that if you keep the basic things stocked in your house, that even when funds are low, you can't get to the store, you are last minute and didn't plan any dinner, you can still pull something together, particularly if you add in like fresh vegetables, whatever seasonal, whatever meat was on sale at the store. So without further ado, welcome to my kitchen. All right, let's start with pantry and dry goods. These are the things that will last forever. You can buy them in bulk. You can pick them up when they're on sale. You can buy a different item every week until you're fully stocked, and then just throw them in a jar and keep them on the shelf. Let's start with simple carbs. This is what you're going to use to fill out any given meal. Rice, I usually keep a couple varieties because we eat a lot of rice, but at least like a white long grain rice and a brown rice. I also like these packs of wild rice because it's pre-cooked, and so that's a quick addition to a meal. Don't quote me on whether the packs themselves are non-toxic, they probably aren't, but we make some exceptions. Quinoa I always keep around. It is a really protein-rich, low GI carb to round out any meal. Great for food prep and salads and lunches. Pasta, I used to think it was the enemy, but let's be real, we all love pasta. It's quick to throw together and it is good for you. Just get a decent quality brand, if you can. If you like to do Asian style cooking, you can also keep some rice noodles or something like these soba noodles. They're buckwheat. They're really flavorful and much more nutrient dense than like a rice noodle. And then oats. I always have quick oats and rolled oats in the house. Always buy organic because they are heavily sprayed, but I use oats in so much of my cooking. I hear you bringing up concerns about phytoestrogens, but after tons of research, phytoestrogens are not bad for you. They can have a balancing effect on the estrogen. They won't necessarily send it through the roof. So we can talk about that one another time. For dry good proteins, it is so much more cost effective to keep dried proteins like legumes, beans, lentils, etc. on hand than to buy cans. Cheaper, but also better for you because soaking the beans from dried will help you digest them better. That removes a lot of the phytic acid, which is one of the things that like inhibits their digestion and actually also inhibits the protein uptake from the beans. So you do have to think ahead because you have to soak the beans before you use them. I am not very good at this. I always forget to pre-soak them and then I'm like, screw it, I'll just make something different. But still, having a couple of varieties of beans, like at least black beans and chickpeas around is great. So you can make your own hummus. Chickpeas are great to like roast and throw on salads or things. Black beans are great in soups and stews and Mexican food and chili. And then I always keep around red lentils too, because you can make some lentil dal, or well, that's pretty much all I make with lentils, but you can do a lot with lentils. Also, beans or lentils with rice creates a complete protein. So that is a really cheap struggle meal. And there are so many examples from around the world of delicious ways to cook and season beans and lentils to make like flavor bomb foods. Some of our family's favorite foods are literally beans, lentils, and rice. And then nuts and seeds. I don't go crazy on nuts and seeds because I think that there's something that should be eaten in small quantities, but we always keep some around. Again, you can find what's on sale and buy them according to that. But almonds are a great one to have around, although there's the whole almonds water issue. Walnuts are really good for you. They're good for your heart health and have a billion minerals in them and everything. I keep a lot of seeds around because I do cycle syncing for hormone health, so I always keep pumpkin, flax, sunflower, and sesame seeds on hand. But I think at very least, if you keep like pumpkin and sunflower seeds, those are great for snacking, great for adding to salads for just a little bit extra protein. I also personally always have hemp and chia seeds because I like to make overnight chia pudding. And hemp seeds, I love just sprinkling on literally anything for an extra influx of like omega-3s and protein and minerals and everything. You know, you can top salads, oatmeal, pasta, literally anything with some nuts and seeds for a little bit of crunch and extra nutrients. So I think it's really valuable to have them around at home. If you like to bake, and even if you don't, I think you should have a good amount of flour on hand at home, as well as like basic baking supplies. This means that you can always bake your own bread, even if you're not a sourdough baker. Baking bread at home is way cheaper and healthier than getting it from the store. So you can have flour and yeast and water, and that's bread right there. But I also keep around, because I make sourdough, I keep around rye flour for feeding my starter and rice flour for like sourdough things. I also keep a few other things like corn flour for like breading stuff around, but it's not super necessary. But I do think it's necessary to have sugar and cocoa powder, because making sweet treats at home is another great way of saving a little bit of money and sticking to your health goals, because we all want sweet treats. We do. And if you can quickly whip up some brownies at home, that is way yummier, way healthier, and way cheaper than like running out to the store for like, you know, whatever it may be. So yeah, I always keep white flour, maybe wheat flour, baking soda, cocoa powder, sugar, you know, cinnamon, vanilla, and you can do a lot with that, honestly. You'll also need flour and baking soda for a lot of regular recipes, so I think it's really helpful to just keep it stocked. I actually mostly use brown sugar, but I do keep white sugar and some powdered sugar around just in case we need a good, like, classic chocolate cake someday, you know? Oh, and cornstarch. Cornstarch is used in so many recipes for thickening, etc., and I think it's really helpful to keep some around. Okay, then you have add-ins and snacks. These are little extra things that I actually think are kind of essential. Like dried fruit, if you have kids around, my son is obsessed with raisins. I don't know what kind of brainwashing we managed to do to him, but he loves a raisin. We also often keep something like dried mango around in like a big jar, because it's just a quick, easy snack to take with you on the go. Dates are another dried fruit I keep around all of the time, because again, super quick fix for a sweet tooth if you shove some like butter and salt on them, or peanut butter and chocolate chips. And there's a lot of recipes, especially like healthier sweet treat recipes, that I include dates in. Desiccated or shredded coconut, again, is great if you're gonna be doing any baking, making homemade granola, oatmeal in the mornings, anything like that. It adds an extra layer of deliciousness and nutrition, and it's not super expensive. These are all kind of dependent on your personal preferences and what you're going to be making. But again, just things that I always have in my home. Like if we're out of coconut, inevitably I will be going to make granola. I'm like, babe, we don't have any coconut. Nuts and seeds kind of fall in this category too. Again, I like to keep around some things like chia seeds, because I love making overnight chia pudding and things like that, and hemp seeds, because it's so easy to sprinkle hemp seeds on literally anything for an extra serving of protein and omega-3s and minerals and micronutrients. They're really yummy too, and they go great in a salad dressing. They make it really creamy, and again, add all of that extra goodness into it. I am all for things that you can add into stuff to turn like something basic into something that is really serving you nutrient-wise. On top of this, popcorn is fun to keep around. Again, like we all snack. We all want a crunchy snack sometimes. And I think preparing for that is way better than acting like you're not gonna ever want a snack, or like you're always just gonna snack on carrots, and then being like, oh, it's movie night and I really want something, you know, and running to the store to grab Oreos. Looking at you, Condreas. Looking at the Oreos that we have on top of the fridge, actually. So popcorn is really easy to make at home and great to have around. I don't make it enough, but I always keep a jar up there. It's because of my mother. She always kept a jar. And chocolate chips. Great for bribing children. Great for a quick sweet treat, like I said, on top of the dates. Great for baking. I think that the best way to plan for like sticking to just like, I hate even saying healthy eating, just like wholesome eating, is planning to make yummy, fun, sweet things at home, you know? Tortilla chips could also be included in this one. It's something that we buy pretty often. Great for like rounding out a lot of meals and for an easy snack. And if you get good ones, I think the ingredient, and I just like a crunchy snack sometimes. Okay, don't freak out, but this is my least organized cupboard and I hate it. We're gonna talk cans. We don't actually buy a ton of canned goods, but we do always keep a variety of canned tomatoes. Like I like to keep some crushed tomatoes, some diced tomatoes, always tomato paste. It adds so much flavor to tons of dishes. And then I often get like a plain marinara sauce like this. Because again, a quick pasta, such an easy dinner. And honestly, tinned tomatoes have tons of nutrients in them, super rich in vitamin C. You can add them to a billion different things. You can make shakshuka and chili and Mexican food and whatever. Always keep tomatoes around. I also pretty much always keep coconut milk because I use it for anything from like curries and soups and stews to sweet things like chia pudding and baking and stuff like that. And again, it's one of those things that if I don't have it, I will suddenly need it. I also always keep tuna around, but we try and get a better quality tuna. I really like the Wild Planet one, wild caught albacore tuna. It's a little more expensive, but when you think about it for what it is, like a protein rich lunch or even dinner, we make tuna pasta a lot. It's like my husband's favorite. The kids love it too. Yeah, it lasts forever. You know, it's shelf stable, great source of protein, great source of like omega-3s and all of that. I'm a big tuna girl. I understand the fears behind heavy metals, etc., but you just can't escape it completely. So I think that there's going to be some heavy metals naturally in our food, and if we're not putting them into our bodies through a ton of other things around the house, then we can handle a little bit, you know? If you're cool like my husband, sardines, mackerel, oily fish in tins, also a great thing to have around. Again, shelf stable, again, a very quick like snack or lunch, and so good for you. I'm working on it. I'm not a fan, but I'm trying to be because of the health benefits. And I'm trying to make quicker lunches so I can get on with my life. I think that's one of those things. You could say that something like olives is a good basic to keep around just because it's a flavor bomb and great for like healthy snacking. It's definitely not necessary, but it's something that we buy often. And we do keep a few canned beans on hand just for like a quick fix if I forgot to soak beans and I do want to make something like chili or refried beans or something like that. For cooking, I keep quite a few oils on hand. I like to have coconut oil for baking, making pancakes, anything that can handle a coconutty flavor like Asian, Indian foods. It has a really high smoke point and it stays really stable when heated to high heat. So I really love cooking with that. And then I always have avocado oil for like other high heat cooking. I use it for most of my sauteing and roasting. And I also keep olive oil on hand that I mostly use in fresh things like salad dressings and sauces, but I will also use it when cooking Italian food because the flavor cannot be matched. I personally also keep a spray avocado oil just because it's easy. And then I also get ghee or tallow anytime that it's on sale because it's, again, clarified butter is so good for you, and again, really good for high heat, amazing flavor. Tallow, really great for roasting, really good for you, but they're a bit pricier, so I just kind of like look out for when I can find them at Costco or get them on sale. And this is really a treat thing, but lately I've been using hemp seed oil just to put in, again, sauces, dressings on things fresh because I felt like we have not been getting enough of those omega-3s because we don't eat a lot of oily fish and things like that, and I really want my kids to get omega-3s. So this was a little pricier, but I just use a little bit at a time, and it's a nice way to kind of add that nutrient into things easily. I always keep apple cider vinegar with the mother around, as well as balsamic vinegar. And then again, if you like to do a lot of Asian style cooking, you're gonna need soy sauce or liquid aminos. I usually have both on hand. Rice vinegar is such a must. And then something like gochujang or chili paste. If you have rice vinegar, gochujang, and soy sauce, you can really quickly whip together an incredible sauce with a little bit of honey, a little bit of water, throw it on some veggies or some meat. So good. On top of that, we also keep plenty of peanut butter because I have 3 peanut butter fiends in the house, as well as maple syrup and raw honey. Raw honey predominantly for fresh things like toast and uncooked things and medicinal things. And then maple syrup I use a lot for baking, and I like to put it in my coffee. Of course, you can't forget spices. If you're gonna cook delicious food, you need tons of spices. And this is something that if you're starting from the ground up with your kitchen, just like buy a few a week, whatever you need for those recipes to like build your collection. But I pretty much can't get by without powdered garlic, onion, and ginger. basic herbs like oregano, basil, Italian seasoning, dill, but I have some herbs fresh in my garden too. And then a lot of spices, particularly if you're going to be cooking those like beans and curries and things like that. You're going to want a good curry powder, a good garam masala, coriander, cumin, cardamom, chili powder, smoked paprika, my most overused spice. What else do we have here? Turmeric, cumin, if I didn't say it. Those are my basics. And then cinnamon and pumpkin pie spice. And also broth. You can make your own broth at home, but otherwise it's great to have some on hand in a carton. They can be expensive, but you can find them on sale for like really good prices. Okay, that completes the dry goods, canned things, shelf stable items, but I am gonna show you in my fridge. We are a dairy positive family, although I try and keep it to good quality dairy and not like excessive amounts. So I always keep Greek yogurt because quick protein, great for just adding some healthy fats and proteins to breakfast, lunch, even dinner. I always get full fat Greek yogurt. It's nice to have some cottage cheese around too. I have realized now that I'm becoming an old lady. We always get a block of mature grass-fed cheese. Something like this Kingdom cheddar or Kerrygold is great, and because it's mature cheddar, there is so much more flavor, so it goes farther if you're making things like cheese sauces. Like a great way to make cheese stretch, for instance, with like baked potatoes as a meal, is to make a cheese sauce instead of just grating cheese on top, because it just stretches so much farther. We also always invest in grass-fed butter because there's so many good nutrients in here, full of vitamin A and K2. And again, for the little ones, really good for them because they need cholesterol and healthy fats to help their brain development. So I will just spoon butter onto anything they eat. What else in here is like really a staple? Let me think. Veggie-wise, I'm gonna always keep around carrots, potatoes, onions, garlic, sweet potato, often celery and cabbage. Carrots last forever, they're super cheap and you can put them in so many different things. Potatoes are a really great base for meal, great source of carbohydrates and tons of other nutrients. You need onions and garlic for flavor. And then cabbage and celery are both other cheaper and long-lasting vegetables. Cabbage is a new love of mine. You can do so much of it and literally it lasts forever in the fridge and it stretches to so many meals. I'll also usually keep some kind of fresh leafy greens and then frozen broccoli and frozen mixed vegetables, and I'll add in other fresh vegetables depending on what's in season, what's cheap, or what we're making that week. Fruit we go through a ton of, especially with 2 toddlers, but it can be really expensive. So we always get apples, oranges, and bananas, the cheapest ones, and again, apples and oranges last a really long time. And while we love to get fresh berries, sometimes it's just not financially responsible. So we always get a big bag of frozen berries. And we pretty much always get a big bag of mixed frozen berries and a big black bag of frozen blueberries, and you can defrost them and the kids love them either way, or use them for like desserts and smoothies and everything like that. And then we also often will get some kind of like local in-season fruit, or just kind of like whatever seems good, cost effective, what we're using for recipes that week. Meat is something that you can really shop the sales and stock up when it's cheap, or just get what you need for certain meals. However, I usually keep in stock ground beef that I'll either buy at local ranch stores and get grass-fed beef, or if I just need to like bulk out the freezer without spending a ton, I'll stop at Costco and get their like 3-pack of organic, but not grass-fed, not fancy ground beef. I also try and stock some chicken. Again, either shop the sales and find cheap prices on the best quality chicken you can buy, or sometimes I just get a big bag of frozen chicken breast or chicken tenders. I love the chicken tenders because they defrost and cook really fast. I always keep my eye out for good deals on whole chicken, and I will just shove those in the freezer. This is why it's great to have a deep freeze, because you can just look out for deals and sales and bulk items and then divide them up and put half of it in the deep freeze. If things are gonna go bad, you can throw it in the freezer. If you have extra leftovers, throw it in the freezer, and that's a quick meal sometime. Half the time we forget about our deep freeze until we really are strapped for dinner, and then it's like we can go shopping and find all kinds of surprises in there. That's pretty much it. I feel like if you have these kind of basics in your home, you can go shopping anytime pretty much without a list. If you know what you're generally out of, and then add in a couple things that are on sale or that look good that week, you can then come home and figure out what to make without having to do a whole meal plan and everything. And even if you buy something that you already have at home, if it's one of these basic things, you know that you're gonna use it. You know, I buy duplicates pretty often because my brain is kind of out of sight, out of mind, but it's okay because we always use it in the end. Sometimes we really complicate like at-home cooking and healthy eating. I definitely do, but it can be as simple as just like a protein, a carb, and a vegetable. Before we go, I'll do a little bonus round of like the health items and herbs that I like to keep around the house too, if I have them all in stock. Okay, bonus round, health items that I like to keep in the house. Collagen. I use collagen all the time, and it is not because it gives your body collagen, it's because it breaks down into complex amino acids that are the building blocks for proteins and collagen in your body. I like to use the Ancient Nutrition collagen. It's my favorite, but there are cheaper options that are also really good. Just look for something that has lots of different types of collagen in it and no fillers. Protein, I like to keep a little bit of protein around. I go for plant protein powders over like a whey protein personally. I don't know why, probably no reason, but I really like this Epic protein powder. I just get it at my local health food store and I like it. I like the ingredients. I have a chocolate one and a regular one, and I just put them in smoothies and things sometimes. Or sometimes I put the chocolate protein powder in oatmeal, and I make chocolate oatmeal for my son and he loves it, and he gets a proteiny breakfast. It is nice to have some adaptogens around, particularly if you ever need help adapting to stress, which I think we all do. Adaptogens all work in different ways to help your body and your nervous system handle stress better, whether that's physical, mental, emotional stress. So I really like lion's mane because it's good for mental clarity, and I struggle with that having ADHD, so I keep a powdered lion's mane and I have tinctured lion's mane and stuff around. And then reishi and chaga are also great ones. Reishi is really great for kind of relaxing and de-stressing at the end of the day. So like I will make that into like an evening, like reishi hot chocolate kind of thing, or like a golden milk, turmeric milk, you know, with reishi in it. There are other adaptogenic herbs too, but those ones are pretty easy to find, and you can get them in powder form that's easy to add into things. Herbs wise, you can keep it pretty basic. It's nice to have peppermint around for soothing the stomach, and oh, I totally forgot. I also keep whole ginger around because I cook with it a lot and I like to use it for medicinal reasons. Put that with a bit on root vegetables. Honestly, you can get so deep with different supplements and things. I think that they are great supplements, like to supplement a healthy diet and lifestyle. And there are so many things in the realm of your health that you can really, really affect just with eating cleaner, simpler foods. And so don't get caught up in feeling the need to buy expensive supplements. If you're on a budget and you want to eat healthy, focus on the foods. Actually, before collagen or protein powder, I would get a really good vitamin C supplement, one that is a whole food vitamin C that has bioflavonoids. I really like Fertile supplements. I also recommend a zinc and beef liver supplements if you want to go the extra mile. But vitamin C is so important for your body for a billion things, so it's a great place to start. If you can also add beef liver, it's like nature's multivitamin. And then zinc really, really helps your immunity and tons of other things. I love Fertile. I have a discount code for them and I'll put it in the bio, but it's woman-owned, small business. Everything is from whole foods and really well sourced and researched. Herbs, again, you can get deep in the herbs, but it's nice to keep around basics like peppermint for soothing the stomach, and just like it's refreshing, it's calming, and really, really good for little kids because it's gentle. So babies can have it from when they start having water and solid foods. Another one like that is chamomile. It's really gentle, so kids can have it. It's calming, it's great for sleep, it's great for fevers, it's great for pain relief. So you can use it topically or you can use it as a drink. For women, raspberry leaf and nettle, I would 100% keep around. Raspberry leaf, drink it every single month, drink it all through the month, but drink it especially just before and during your period. Nettle is great all the time as well, but especially during and after your period, as it's a really nutritive herb and it will help your body to replenish itself after you've been a little bit depleted. Those are also both really gentle and can be given to all members of the family at any time. I also really like to have a good high quality sea salt. If you have this, then you don't need to get any fancy like mineral or hydration powders. You can have sea salt and orange and water and make yourself an incredible hydration drink from home. I think that's it. I'm going to write all this up into a Substack as well so that it's there for reference. If you have any questions, anything you think that I missed out, there's probably something I totally forgot that'll come to me in the middle of the night. This is my kitchen, and that is what I keep on hand so that I can attempt to feed my family healthy, yummy, home-cooked food most days.